Hey everybody, good morning to you, and I should say probably just about good afternoon, I should state. Thank you for joining Chef Anthony in my studious kitchen here, preparing and ready to dive into another dynamic dish. Today I'm going to be preparing a brown stew chicken. In certain places they will call it just stew chicken, but most places it calls it brown stew because we're going to prepare it in a certain type of way. Requirements to doing this: we're going to be utilizing some sugar. We're going to brown the sugar. We're going to do this old style because I think that's one of the dynamics of preparing the brown stew chicken. We have some chicken parts that we cut up and season. I use a little hint of pepper, salt, some browning, complete seasoning, and basically that's your seasoning marination for your chicken. Meanwhile, I have the pot on in the back, and I'm going to add in at least 2 tablespoons of sugar. Alright, and what we do is that we allow the sugar to then start taking the effect of actually browning. Okay, that's the process of making the brown stew chicken or just simply stew chicken. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and utilize that. Means we want to watch to make sure that it's not burning. Zoom it in so everybody can see. You're going to need to come on in so you can see. I want you to see that the sugar is starting to cook within the oil, and it's gonna start smoking. So that's quite all right. That's a part of the process. All right, you may have to move it around a little bit, and I like using a wooden knife. I mean a wooden spoon, so that it helps while I'm working to do this. So you don't want the sugar to burn up, but you want it to become darkened. Then I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add the chicken on in there, and make sure that it's spread out. So make sure you spread it out evenly, so that the sugar is going to crystallize itself into the chicken, and then you allow it to cook. We're going to stir it up in just a second. And then we're going to place the cover on top and allow it to cook. So once you place it in there, at least 2 minutes after, you want to stir that around. All right, just to ensure that the sugar itself is not burning or crystallizing only in one particular part of the pot. You want to make sure that every bit of the chicken is indulged with the browning of the sugar that's getting onto the parts of the chicken. And as you can see, it's glazing pretty nice. So we're gonna allow that to sit for a second, and go ahead and cover that. The pot directly next to it is my rice and peas. Basically put on some rice and peas, and I went ahead on and also added some coconut milk inside of it, a little bit of complete seasoning, some thyme, and our rice is practically just about finished. It's just simmering right now, but it's right where it needs to be at. So we're just gonna allow that to continue to sit there and completely dry in. All right, so okay, now The additional things that we're going to add to that is going to be the garlic, the thyme, and the onion. And also fresh ginger. Fresh ginger is one of the most dynamic and one of the most useful herbs in which to put into the, when you're browning, you're doing this particular type of a dish, whether it's brown stew or if you're doing curry chicken, because it brings out a very unique taste. You can taste that ginger in it that makes it quite extra. For me, it's a win. We want to kind of knock out as much as we can, and we're going to then add that to our onion, garlic, thyme mixture. Using this fresh herbs gives you really good quality of the products, so that you are capable of actually tasting every ingredient that's within the dishes. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add this to the pot. We're gonna stir it up, make sure that it gets all around in there. And again, I want to make sure that I stir it around so that everything gets in. Keep in mind that you are actually timing everything, because the chicken is raw. Chicken is going to take approximately a good 15, 20 minutes for it to be properly cooked, depending on the bite size or the cut size of the chicken. So right now we have basically all the ingredients, and we're gonna allow that to go ahead and create its own juice, and then we're gonna add a little bit of a water and flour for a little bit of a basically, I did a little bit of water and flour with a little bit of confit seasoning, just to roux it in a little bit, and that's to tighten it up. As I said, we won't pour this in immediately. We want to give it, everything right now that's in the pot at least 5 minutes. 5 minutes to allow it to not only develop its juicing, the chicken, the herbs and the essence are going into the chicken. At the same token, it's creating its own liquefied juice. So in that process right now, we got to give it a little bit of a time. All right, everything is not a rush. We got to give it time. If you want it right, then let it work its way. All right, in a few more minutes, Then we are gonna add in the roux that's gonna practically thicken it up, and then it's all complete. All we gotta do is allow it to simmer so that everything adjusts to the right consistency. And that's where we're gonna get at concerning the brown stew chicken, stew chicken to make. All right, everyone. So our brown stew chicken right now, it should be right at the finishing touch. So what we did was went ahead on and added a little bit of the water with the roux, and basically what we did was to give it a little bit more juice and allow it to simmer. For about 5 more minutes. So we could come on over here real quick and take a look at that, and then we're gonna prepare a steamed vegetable, a cabbage steamed vegetable, to go along with our brown stew chicken, brown rice with basically it's rice and peas. So wonderful. That's the dynamics of going step by step and having that consistency of the sauce, and everything just seems to mellow. And you can see all the chicken is golden brown, and that juice that is coming out and the juice that's going in is what synchronizes or make that chicken taste really great. So we're gonna go ahead, and we're working right now on the steamed cabbage. As you can see, I went ahead and put a little bit of water on there, and I have my cabbage here. I want this to get hot. We're gonna get ready to cut up the cabbage to add in there. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. And at this point now, we're gonna go ahead and start chopping away at the cabbage. Usually when the cabbage comes from the store, the outer part of the leaves are practically drying out. So we would just go ahead and remove that part, and get you a good sharp knife, put on the center part of the cabbage. All right, and then you want to get to the stem core. All right, the stem core is where you want to get to. You want to take a knife and make an incision and follow along the line, just to make sure that you could actually take that little part out. There's the stem. It's hard, and it's no need in trying to add it to your dish. Then go ahead and make sure that you don't have any bad leaves. You don't really need the bad leaves, because it will appear in your dishes, and you want everything to look nice and fresh. All right, so you discard what you don't need, what little bit that you don't need, and then the rest of it is ready for the workout. So now I will just go ahead and I will make some slices, and then I'll come back the other way. I'm gonna cut the cabbage down. Go ahead and add it into a bowl. Repeat the process until you're through, and having all your steamed vegetables in according to the amount that you would need for how many you are serving. I believe we're preparing for at least 60 or 70, so we're gonna practically use it all up, because it's gonna, as it steams or as it's cooking, it's gonna come to shrink. It's gonna shrink. It may seem like a lot in the bowl, but consider the fact that once it loses its format, then it's not as much as it looks like when you begin. one. Alright, so now we're going to add this to the pot. We're going to allow this here to steam, and we're going to add in some carrots. Now you could use shredded carrots. You could use a larger size of carrots. But if you're going to use thinner sized carrots, the best thing to do is don't add it to it until it is about maybe 2 minutes away from finishing, because that would immediately disintegrate. You don't want it to overcook. Now go ahead and I place it all in there, and basically all I got to do is cover it up and allow it to work its way through. I also have some peppers. When you're preparing steamed vegetables, you could be fanciful with it as much as you want. You could add in some peppers. You can also add in some mixed vegetables from the canned mix, like the string beans, carrot, corn mixture. You could add that into it as a booster. Today all I want to utilize is a few peppers that I want to give it a little bit of a coloration. So I'm going to add in a few of this tricolor peppers that I have here. Usually when I get a lot of peppers in, what I do, I cut them up, I freeze them, and I use them at the appropriate time that I need it to add to my natural flavoring. All right, probably ain't gonna need no more than that should be just about good enough to work out what we're gonna work out back here. So once the cabbage has started withering, and then we're gonna add in the peppers. We're gonna wait a few minutes. When we add in the peppers, then we're gonna add in the carrots. Along with that, we're gonna add in the butter and a little bit of some complete seasoning to get it going, so that we will see the beautification of the steamed cabbage, what it looks like in the ending process, the ending product of this particular dish that we're working on. So in just a few more minutes, let's allow it to have at least 4 to 5 minutes, and then we're going to check on that to then start adding in the peppers and the rest of the ingredients to complete our dish. All right, right now we're going to add in our peppers into the steamed cabbage. Allow that to go ahead on and steam its way up some more. About another 2 to 3. About let's say at least it still need at least approximately about another 4 to 5 more minutes. Meanwhile, we'll just go ahead and cube up our butter. What this will help, this will what I call glazing, but this is to make the vegetables taste even better. So we're gonna go ahead and just cube this up. I'm gonna use a whole pound of butter because I'm using a whole lot of cabbage. Alrighty, so we have that going. We're gonna give that a few more minutes. Meanwhile, we wait. So another 4 more minutes. Then we'll add the final ingredients, which is the carrots, the butter. We're gonna allow this another 3 more minutes. So we check that we saw 5, 4. That's about 9, 10, 11, about 12 minutes. So I need 15 minutes. We are through with our steamed cabbage, and the rest of our dish will be complete. I'll plate it up, and that way you would actually see the actual finish, the final product that goes onto the plate for us all to be able to enjoy. All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead on and we're gonna add in our cube butters into bring it around into our cabbage. We have taken. Bring it around. We have added the carrots to it, as well as the peppers, and we're gonna add the butter in right now, and allow everything now to combine itself together. It's all mixed in. We'll make sure that the butter flavor gets all into and around all of the cabbage, carrots, and peppers. And voila! There we go. We don't have any water because we strained the water, so we don't have any excess water. But what we have is all vegetable, and you can always test. Okay, if you need to add a little bit of salt, garlic, or pepper, you can go ahead and do that. But it's right where I would like to have it at, and that's our process. So right now we're gonna go ahead and plate this item up. Along with that, we're also going to be plating up we're also going to plate up here. Now we have our sample plates. And our sample plate, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our sample part of this on the plate. along with some of the steamed cabbage. If you're a gravy lover like myself, you want some of that over your rice. And a little drizzle on top of your vegetable, and that's what we will have for our lunch. Brown stew chicken, rice and peas made with curry milk and steamed vegetables. All right, this is something that is quite simple, very tasty, and I hope that you may practice and enjoy it yourself. So thank you for spending this time with Chef Anthony. Hope that you would enjoy your dish, your creativity, by just taking the opportunity to learn a little bit about the cultures and the food that we can create together. Thank you for joining me. Hope to see you at the next show right here with Chef Anthony. Have a blessed day. God bless you.